Manchester City against Arsenal this Sunday. These head-to-head matches in this Premier League era, Troy. I mean, we now realise there are many who fancy their chances in the Premier League this season. Has the general competitiveness of the rest of the Premier League meant that these one-off games are no longer like title deciders like they might have been in years gone by?
It's a great question. I'm going to say no, because I don't think the rest of the league is as competitive from a footballing standpoint anymore. I think everyone's trying to play the same way. I think you look at Southampton, you look at Leicester, everyone's trying to play out from the back and do the Man City Arsenal way of doing it. But unfortunately, these guys have been doing it for a long time and are a lot better. I could only talk to when we got promoted, we realised we wasn't that good in terms of going up against these big boys. So play two up front, go a little bit old school, hit it into me with Odegaard running off the shoulder, and we cause people a lot of problems. I think now everyone try to play out from the back is the new model where the coach is probably taking a bit more of a limelight, would you say, Crookie, than the players? Because it's, look at Vincent Kompany moving on, and if you're Russell Martin now, why would you be too worried about winning and staying up when you can probably go and get a better job?
Yeah, we had that debate with Martin O'Neill last week, and I think certainly in Vincent Kompany's case, it struck me that he was more worried about his own reputation and, being seen to have this style of playing out from the back rather than actually trying to use all the tools at his disposal to keep burning in the Premier League. And I understand where you're coming from with Russell Martin as well. A lot of managers seem to want to have an identity, but for me, I think it's still about picking up wins. And I think you'll see that from Ipswich this weekend. I'm going slightly off piece, but you look at Ipswich's start to the season, Liverpool and City first two games, did okay, got a point at home to Fulham, went to Brighton last week and really had to dig in for that 0-0 draw. I think at Southampton you'll see a more expansive Ipswich, because I think still, even in 2024, as a manager, I want my manager to be playing a style that's going to get the best possible outcome from that particular game. Arsenal this weekend will be defensive. They will play. I heard Emmanuel Petit there saying he doesn't want to see them play like they did last season. I'd be surprised if they did anything else. They're going to try and be difficult to beat. They're going to try and use the wide players to hit City on the counter, and they'll try and use their big strength, which is set pieces. If they go there and try and out-football City, Mikel Arteta knows they're more likely to get beat.
Yeah, of course. Two absentees, of course, against Tottenham for Arsenal, and that was Declan Rice and Odegaard. But the key thing is Odegaard's injury is long-term. And Arsenal and Arteta undoubtedly will miss him, as Arteta has mentioned.
Yeah, after a recent scan, the scan showed there's got some damage, especially in one of the ligaments in the ankle. So we're going to miss him, yeah.
Can you give us a rough guideline?
I don't want to do that because I'm not a doctor, but yet it's something quite significant, so we're going to lose him for a while.
Months, not weeks.
Hopefully not months, but let's see.
I mean, did we see last night against Atalanta, Troy, how blunt they are without Odegaard?
Yeah, I think so. Blunt's a bit harsh. I think they miss that creative spark. There's certain players that when they drop out of a team, you can't change it. I've seen a lot of people say, like, if they would have kept Emmanuel Smith-Rowe. I think Emmanuel Smith-Rowe is a great footballer and he does a lot of good things, especially now at Fulham.
Emmanuel Smith-Rowe.
I said Emmanuel, sorry. He's just not in a situation where he would be the same either, because he's just so cute. And we did the first game of the season, even when Arsenal are very clunky, which they have been at the start of this season, he was the one going and doing the press, going and getting people after it. And when you're there and you're watching, everyone follows his lead. It's not necessarily him screaming and shouting. It's give me the ball, watch, and I'll make a mistake. It doesn't matter. I'll go and do it again. And I just think they miss that creative spark when he's there, and he's just something that they can't replicate.
Here's one for you, Alex. If it's a draw, who does that suit more?
City.
Oh, why? What do you think that?
Because I think it keeps Arsenal at arm's length.
Okay.
But I think if there's a winner, if City were to win the game, that is really damaging for Arsenal, because all of a sudden they're 5 points behind. I know it's really early in the season.
Would you say it's...
But can you afford to give City a 5-point lead?
Would you say it's done at that point?
Obviously we've got to factor in what's going to happen with the 115 charges. But I think history tells us if you're going to get a City, your best chance is early in the season to get into that lead, as Arsenal have done actually a couple of times and ended up being reeled back in. You can't afford to let them get away from you, which is why I think there's pressure on Arsenal. But I think City will be happy with a point.
So hypothetically then, everyone wants Arsenal to go there and take them on. Arsenal go, try and take them on, lose 3 or 4-0, Are we doing a show next week talking about how naive Arsenal were?
Yeah, I think
Well,
we are.
that's a great point. That's a great point. But Troy, what a statement it would be if Arsenal can find a way of going there and winning it.
Yeah, but didn't they win last year? They beat them there last
No, they
year.
drew 0-0. Two draws last year.
Two draws. Yeah.
And
I keep getting Villa mixed up because
Yeah.
Villa took the
It was
points off
2-2 early season in North
Did they beat
London.
them at the Emirates?
And 0-0. No,
Yeah.
it was 2-2 at the Emirates.
Oh,
2-2 at the Emirates.
Pretty sure.
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of
Can
people
you-
in the back panicking. Anyway, the
Can
point
you,
is,
can
it
you
was- it was
see
a draw at
any
the
way,
Emirates.
Troy? Is there
Yeah, you
any
can, of course
way
you
that
can.
Arsenal can go there and come away with it?
Absolutely. You've just seen Brentford go down and score after 24 seconds. So you can hit them on the counter attack. I still think City are and Pep are integrating a lot of the lads who was in the Euros back into their team and their system fully. Kevin De Bruyne could potentially be injured as well. So they've got problems. I just think the thing that we are labelling at Arsenal's door, and I think Henry Winter said it, they need a striker. When we look at Man City, no matter what happens, how good or bad they're playing,
Yeah.
we are all sitting here going, how many is Haaland going to get?
It was 1-1 at the Emirates, and actually
1-1.
someone's texting
No, it
Pep's...
was 1-0 at the Emirates.
No, it was 1-1.
Arsenal won it. Single goal to nil.
What are we doing here, guys?
No, they didn't.
Single goal
Crookie,
to nil.
it would be really bad if you were wrong now.
It would be really funny.
As you dug in on this.
What we did stress earlier on, though, was Carragher's comments in the Telegraph this morning about Saliba and Gabriel.
I'm wrong. It was 1-0.
I was
Oh,
trying to-
one nil
I
to
think we
the
were right, Jim.
I was trying to move on and cover your blushes there,
Don't
mate.
listen to Crookie on anything to do with
How
football.
would you,
Honestly, that is a heads gone. That is a heads
Troy,
gone.
how would you have fancied? How would you fancy playing against Saliba and Gabriel? Because if Carragher is saying that in the fullness of time, if these two start winning things,
Yeah.
you can put them in the same category as Terry and Carvalho, Ferdinand and Vidic.
Yep.
Now, how would you go about this weekend? Say you were pulling on the shirt of Manchester City.
Yeah.
How do you go about setting about Saliba and Gabriel?
Well, just talking as if it's me.
You.
Who's myself. Okay. Well, I would be trying to get the ball on the diagonal and trying to make them run back as far as possible. So if the ball's on the right-hand side, I want to be on the left-hand side, knowing that if our players can hit it in my direction, I can rough them up from with it be going win the headers, or 9 times out of 10, I want to step across with the timing, get it on my chest and get a foul. That was what we'd be trying to do. Listen, it'd be really, really difficult. I think when they've played against Man City, I've been at a few of the games over the last couple of years, they've dealt with Haaland relatively well as a whole. I think they drop deep and don't allow him the space. And we could all say, for as great as Haaland is, he's not great with the ball back to goal. So I think they need to do more of that. I think, to Jamie's point, as we touched on earlier, if they want to be considered as one of the greats, they have to win things. The two of centre-back pairings that you spoke about there have all won everything. And what these guys have got now, which the other guys have got, is that fear factor of people don't think they're going to get anything from them. That's a really good thing.
Sure.
I remember standing in the tunnel that we played Chelsea in 2015, and I still remember John Terry, Cahill, Ivanovic, Petr Cech, all big boys coming down, and I was like, oh, we're in for a game here. And normally that doesn't happen to me. I normally go the opposite, like, yes,
And you're
bigger
a
the
big,
better.
You're a big unit.
Yeah, but when you normally when you play against a team, it's like 1 or 2. This was like 8, and it was like, oh yeah, it's on today. Do you know what I mean? It gives you that little bit of a psychological edge. We ended up losing the game, but it was in the tunnel. You're thinking, wow, these are big boys.
Did you give a good account of yourself?
I did all right. I think John Terry's given me a nice 4 stitches I got off the back of my head from John in that game. Yes, it was a good day.
Who do you think's a bigger loss? Odegaard for Arsenal or De Bruyne for Man City? Because we're expecting him to be absent as well.
Odegaard, 100%. I think Kevin has been injured enough over the last couple of years that City have kind of figured it out without him.
Right.
I think where Odegaard is, I don't think Arsenal have a different way of playing with a different person that can fit in that gap just yet. I think City they could probably put Foden in there, they could put Grealish in there.
Yeah.
They could figure it out. I
Troy,
think.
who wins it?
I said it earlier. I think I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news. I think it's going to be a boring game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 1-0 either way. I hope I'm wrong, because I'm going to be watching it like all of us are. But I think I can see it being a 1-0. Weirdly, you can see a 1-0 Arsenal.
1-0 Arsenal.
From a set piece, yeah. The way they're defending, you don't see how many people are going to score against them. they're quite comfortable without the ball, and set pieces that they're absolutely unbearable going there. They put it in all the time, and Ederson's not been great. No one's really talking about it. Ederson's not been great at the start of the season.
Good point.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.